Yo, Shalom Israel. First, I want to start by giving all honor, praise, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham, Qadash, double honors into the elders and apostles, GMS Great Millstone, and who rule well, and Shalom to whole select brothers out there pushing the truth and honesty and sincerity. My name is Yeshaya, and I'm doing a quick video pursuant to Matthew 12 and 33 and Luke 6 and 44, right? So let's start with Matthew 12 and 33, right? And all right. So it says, Matthew 12 and 33, either make the tree good and his fruits good, or else make the tree corrupt and his fruits corrupt. For this tree is known by his fruits. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart. But what I really wanted to get here was straight to the point, was that for the tree is known by his fruits, right? So when you come into this truth and you're reborn as a man, right? As it says, I believe it's Colossians, no, it's a lot. It's, yeah, Colossians, the 3rd chapter. Yeah, so Colossians 3rd chapter, 10th verse, and it says, and put the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him which was created, right? So, when, as it says in John 3 and 3, a man has to be reborn. You can't not be reborn in this truth. And it's almost like you're growing a whole different type of, type of plant, right? When you're in the world, you're unclean, man. You're a tree with absolutely no fruits. You're really like one of those like Wild West trees that are all rotted up and black and just fucking doing whatever. But when you advance in this truth, you're replanted. You're cut all the way down, right? You're cut all the way down, all the way to the roots, and replanted as something beautiful, which the Lord laboreth much in making sure that he builded you up to that right direction, man. He guides us to the light, man. And almost think about it like, how the sun is light to the plants, and plants are able to develop photosynthesis, through watering and, the proper cuts in that sunlight. That's what the Lord does to us, right? We're able to produce good fruits through the Lord because he watereth us with these scriptures. He cuts us with chastisements, and he shows us light through our path that we walk on this tight rope, That this truth is so tight, man. It's not wide, man. The masses can't just come into it. That's why I said there's a fire on one side and a deep water on the other side, and one man could go at that one time. It says in the Apocrypha, man. So a tree shall be known by its fruits, that the Lord worked so hard to develop. And with that being said, you don't want to disappoint the Lord, right? The Lord is the author and finisher of our faith. Try to think about the Lord as much as possible in the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Because especially your flesh loves to talk. Sometimes I'll be sitting here finding myself, doing the daily dues, and my flesh just won't shut the fuck up. Like, man, we need to go eat this. I'm not even hungry. Or you should just lay down and chill out, watch a movie or some shit. But there's a lot of work I got left to do, right? We're here on unfinished business. We're here to finish up what has already been started, what has already been, foresight. But let's get that Luke 6 and 44 real quick, because it's just a reinforcement. We'll get that, and it says, actually, we'll start at 43. It says, for a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit. For every tree is known by his fruit. For the thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather the grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his evil treasure of his bringeth for which is evil, for the abundance of heart his mouth speaketh, right? So bottom line, you got to understand that if the Lord has set you up and given you the knowledge of these scriptures, man, there's a job that has to be done, right? There's a job that has to be done, and a thing that has to be fulfilled. Let's read Revelation 22 and 11. It says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still, right? Because, through that reincarnation, it's the same, it's the same thing. You're not going to be a fucking absolute bug out, a cursed man in one life, and then the next life you're going to be a great man of the Lord, right? You're not going to be a fucking man of the Lord and then the next life just be like a fucking absolute crazy ass reprobate that just does super ultimate like wicked shit, right? So it's just like the unjust, let them be unjust still. That's why you see these babies and shit. They're born, oh my God, the baby's so cute. Wait 5 years, this nigga's a menace already. What is that little kid's name? I think it's like Lil RT or some shit like that. He's like 6 years old, already talking about shooting niggas, right? But the Lord has been gifted you a good seed, and not that perpetual seed that most of these jakes have, that corrupt seed that he talks about in the Apocrypha, man. Because that's really what they're under, a perpetual seed. Let me get that real quick. So 2 Ezra 9, we'll start at 18, and it says, now when I prepare the world, which was not made yet, even for them to dwell that live now, no man spake against me. So in the very beginning, there was nothing to go against the Lord. There was no fucking wicked ass humans to forsake the law. There was nothing, right? No man spake against me. It says, for then everyone obeyed, but now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupt by a perpetual seed, and by a law that which is unsearchable rid themselves, right? So now that perpetual seed, let's get that definition of perpetual. Everlasting, unceasing, existing, indefinitely, continue forever, in future time, interrupted, continuous, without end, right? So reading this, and it says, for everyone obeyed now, but the manners of them which are created in this world are corrupted by a perpetual seed, an everlasting seed. They're corrupted. So like, to correct myself earlier, I think I said we're not of that perpetual seed. I meant to say corrupted by that perpetual seed, you know, because the Lord has created his elect to be an everlasting, right? He's created his elect, you know, to endure this world and receive the kingdom. He's created his elect for that purpose, you know, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of these jakes thereafter, but the 144,000 ruling class, and in the rest of the world, you know, to hell. But guess what, man? You know, when you're gifted that seed and you're gifted that position in the body, because really you fulfill that position in the body. You got the head, you got the arms, you got the fingers, you got everything, man. Every part of the body cohesively works for a reason. You know, even the smallest things like a fingernail. You get your fingernail ripped off, shit, you might get an infection and end up having the whole hand cut off. And then that shit might get infected and your whole fucking arm gets cut off, you know? That's why every part of the body is there. Even in the innards to the outers, man. The skin, every single cell that makes up the skin, right? Your skin is an organ, man. You have to take care of your skin. Otherwise, it's just like, you know, that can also get messed up too. But hey, you know, you have to take care and understand that the tree that you possess is a very important tree, whether it be big or small. You know, it's not like the world where there's neither here nor there and you don't really care. You know, it's almost like you're given a character in this truth. It's almost like a video game, to be honest, right? You're constantly having to upgrade and fix this and upgrade this armor and upgrade that armor, right? Because when you're equipped with the armor of the Lord, you have to fight against everything here. You have to defend, you know, you have to defend these scriptures and defend this true truth. And then within that, you also have to cut these fucking people. But how are you going to cut these people with the dual sword? Or how are you going to defend with the fucking flimsy ass shield, right? You can't do that. So you have to continue to upgrade and forbear the fucking burdens of this world and continue to try to your best, you know, at building up everything about you, man. Whether it be your physical, mental, emotional, and most of all, which trumps all, it was everything spiritual. Faith, fear, all of that. The whole nine when it comes to spiritual, because that's ultimately what's the most important. But, you know, things like your physical, mental, you know, things like that go in to indirectly correlate to your spiritual, because say you're physically fucked up, you know, your foot's fucking you up, your back's fucking you up, your neck's fucking you up, you know, that might have you start feeling bad for yourself, and you might start skipping spiritual things. Or like you have a headache and shit, and now you want to break your fast because you got a headache, shit like that. That's why you got to take care of yourself, you know, and also, you know, making sure you're not in the hospital. There's a lot of things that go in to this tree of yours, man. This tree that you have is a very delicate thing. Let me get this one scripture right here. I searched it up a second ago. Luke 8:14. right? So when it says, we'll just get right to the point. It says, and that which fell among are thorns, they which they have heard go forth and are choked with cares and riches, pleasures of his life, and bring no fruit in perfection. You don't want your seed to fall into thorns, man. Right? I remember what is that scripture in the Corinthians from the Apostle Paul? I think it's like 6 and 12. No. Salak, bear with me here for just a quick second. Salak, 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. And this is really talking about glory. Before it's talking about like seeking glory in this flesh and as a wretched as man. But reading into 7, it says, lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelations, there is given me a thorn in the flesh. Everyone has some type of thorn that they deal with. Everyone has some type of lot that they're constantly at battle with, man. You know, in Baba Kushai, you know, pray for each other and continue to lean on your brothers and continue to lean on the Lord. But above all that, lean not on your own understanding, as it says in the Proverbs, man, because the flesh is the first thing to fuck you up when it comes to this type of thing, man. The flesh is going to be the first thing to have that shit comfortable. The worst thing a man can have is comfort. Comfort is not what the fuck we need here, man. We're just passing through this thing. And to perfect your tree down to every single leaf and every single branch and every single fiber inside of those branches, man, it takes a lot of travail, man. And I'm not saying my tree's perfect either. Every brother right here is working and trying to continue to build that. You know, build that not only for themselves, but for other people. Lest your fruits should be able to be eaten by the people about, and then they may be fulfilled, right? And that's why, you know, that's how the Lord calls his elect. Because ultimately, I came into this truth off of another man's fruits. I came into this truth off of another man's, you know, another man's tree. And his tree is beautiful, man. And I thank the Lord for guiding me to that tree and eating the fruits thereof so that I may be able to understand that, wow, I need to be changed. Because I'm not where I should be at, you know, because you come into this truth and now you just like, your mind is just bound. You don't even know what to think. There's so much to think about. But then you take it, you eat this loaf, and then you're just like, wow, your whole life has changed, man. And now your whole purpose has changed as well. In the world, you're worried about selfish development. You're worried about looking good for other people, because bottom line is what these people do. You know, fancy cars, they do those fancy cars and shit, you know, for the woman. Right? They do those fancy cars for the woman and the glory and the fame of these people. But when you're reborn in the spirit of this truth and no longer in that worldly mindset, you think to fuck in hell with all that shit, man. You're more focused on being a pleasure to the Lord. You know, proving yourself to the Lord, proving yourself to an everlasting kingdom, which he shall be God's, right? And that's why building this tree is so important. That's why building your character is so important. I mean, down to every single thing. It's attention to detail. That's why things may... I know there's a scripture on it, but it's not coming to me. Salakia. I'll try to put it in the description if I find it. But it's just, even the small things, they matter. Everything. Your fucking diet, you know, the people around you, the environment around you. Things have energy. So the type of clothes that you're wearing, the type of music you listen to, bro. You know, in your house, is your house fucking cluttered and all messy and shit? That shit brings a fucking negative type of connotation to the way that you kind of perceive yourself, because you don't have enough respect to clean up the fucking environment you live in, man. And that's all really just, you got to really have faith in the Lord. When you pray to the Lord and ask for these gifts, you know, you have to pray sincerely, calling upon his name for true reasons, man. For reasons that you understand that the Lord may do these things for you. And you have to really prove that. You know, it's a lack of faith that you think that you can't overcome some of these things. And ultimately, some shit is just hard as a motherfucker, bro. But you telling me that you can't stop going to like fucking McDonald's or some shit like that? You know, because I had corrected my parents one of these times. And, you know, you shouldn't have your diet like the way that it is. You shouldn't be eating fucking McDonald's fast food, Taco fuck ass Bell, and shit like that. Because it really is, it's disrespectful to yourself. And not only that, you're the temple of the Lord. The Lord gave you this body and you just disrespect it. And then you wonder why you have all these ailments, right? And these ailments, what do? They stop you from fucking doing what you're supposed to do in this truth, right? If you're sick and you're like throwing up and your head's knocking and you got blood pressure issues, you're in and out of the doctor, right? You're gonna skip out on what's really important. And that's why the apostles always, if you go back, you can find the apostle Tahar about 11 to 12 months ago on his feed. He'll show you some of the cleanses around the last day of atonement. Around the last day of atonement, he'll show you some cleanses that you can use to cleanse your body. Parasite cleanses and gut cleanses and gut health. A lot of these things go into taking care of your tree. It's not just it's not just by faith alone, right? But it's your works and your faith. Everything goes into a balance, right? Everything goes into a balance. Faith is a big part of it. Faith is like the figure of the tree, right? Because what the fuck are you going to do without it, right? And that's why you got to work on your faith as well, and your fear, and your knowledge, because fear, knowledge cometh from fear, man. Get in the books, sharpening your iron, continuing to fight that battle day in, day out. And then your humility and your humbleness. All these elements go into building that tree to make it perfect, right? And no man is perfect. No man has a perfect tree, definitely not me, not the apostles, and that's why we look after Yahawashi, constantly courting him in all things that we do, because he is the author and finisher of our faith. He is the perfect example of what it looks like to be perfect. By definition, right? And he's gone through the ringer to do that. And the Lord has set him up on the right hand. The angels bow down to him. It's just, there's levels to this. And you got to constantly try to upgrade your level, man. You can't stay stagnant in this truth. I'm going to actually end it off with this right here. Let me get this. 1 Peter 3:18. I love this scripture. But it says, wait a minute. No. 2 Peter 3:18. And it says, ye therefore, beloved, seeing ye know these things before, beware lest ye also, being led away with error from the wicked, fall from your own steadfastness. So basically, letting the error of the wicked, letting you fall from your your consistency, whether it be anything, whether it be literally anything can veer you off. Your job, your fucking family, your wife, anything, right? When it says grow in grace and in knowledge in the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to save, to him be glory both now and forever. Amen. Right? So it's just, that's really what it is. Grow in grace and in knowledge. Because we're in a grace period right now. We're trying to make sure that we're doing right by now. So, I hope this lesson was edifying. I pray good luck to all you brothers. And I want to lastly give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Qadash, and Shalom.